talking dental innovation. My name is Justin with Sinclair Dental. I want to welcome my customers in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. So today our special guest is Jill from Biolase, and Jill is in Edmonton, which is 28 degrees right now, sunny,
No,
with a lot of no.
not at all, not at all.
So obviously, since there's no traveling, with this we can learn a lot from lasers and Biolase today. So I'm very excited to have Jill on. So Jill, first thing I want you to introduce yourself a bit. What's your position with Biolase,
Mhm.
and talk about who is Biolase, why they're one of the biggest laser companies, hard tissue and soft tissue in the world. And then I think you have your soft tissue laser as well to show us,
Mhm.
and then we'll go from there. So welcome.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me. It's nice to do kind of a mini demo without wearing a full mask and doing this a little bit virtually, but that's okay. Like you said, my name is Jill Carlson, and I'm the trade marketing manager with Biolase for Canada. With Sinclair, the exclusive distributor of all Biolase lasers throughout Canada. I work very closely with your high tech team, and then I would be the bridge between Sinclair and Biolase for everything that you guys would need as far as training and resources and demos and all of that kind of stuff. I've been with Biolase for just over a year, so good time to start. End of January with the beginning of pandemic in March, but yeah, it's a really, they've been around since about the mid 80s. They're out of LA, or just outside of LA. And like you said, there are diodes. So there's 3 different versions of diodes that we carry, as well as 2 different all tissue lasers. And all tissue meaning that you can do hard tissue and soft tissue applications with those. But for today and to this purposes, we're focusing more so on the diode. And with me today, I have the Epic X.
Perfect. Awesome. So there's a lot of people that are thinking about a laser, but they're like, you know what, I have an electrosurge, so why would I even consider a laser? So you have
Yeah.
any reasons for that?
I mean, it really varies depending on the practice and kind of which applications they're probably more so wanting to start with. One thing I love about with lasers, however, it does make it a little bit of a hard sell in the sense you can do so much with it. So sometimes when you're going into a practice, it can be overwhelming a little bit of how much you can be using your laser for. For the diode side, it's a heat-based laser. So a bonus is it's cutting and cauterizing at the same time. So faster healing times for patients. And I'll walk you through a little bit of a setup in a little bit with the diode, but I mean, the tip is so small. It's kind of hard to see, but it's so small that really you're being able to go in and cut the exact area you want to get. So as far as cellular damage, it's quite minimal for what you're working with.
Awesome. So what would be the main procedures, I guess? So let's say your top 5 procedure, top 3 procedures that you can perform with a a diode laser that would be beneficial to have it in the practice.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say for me, at least for what I'm hearing the most of, is a lot of practices are using them for troughing, better visibility, for being able to go around the tooth, gingivectomies, crown lengthening, and kind of once the doctor's a little bit more comfortable going in and be able to do a frenectomy. This one here, like I said, is the Epic X. So you can do surgical applications as well as hygiene applications. And then this one here is the Epic H, and this would be just for hygiene applications like the laser bacterial reduction, or LAPT, laser assisted periodontal therapy. So even if hygienists can't be doing it necessarily in your territory, the doctors can be doing those applications with their patients.
Can you do the same things with the Epic X that you can do with hygiene?
So yes, with the Epic X, you can be using the same hygiene applications. It's a 10-watt laser with a 940 wavelength. So you can do the hygiene and the surgical, meaning you can cut with it. The hygiene laser is just for hygienic applications. It's a 1.5 watt diode. so you wouldn't be able to cut with that one. The Epic X, and I'm sorry, the lighting's not that great, so we'll see. But as you can see, it fits literally in just the palm of my hand. It doesn't have to be plugged in. It has about 6 hours of battery life with it, as well as a cordless foot pedal. So you literally just pop it open like that, put your foot in to start your application, and then lock it when you're not using it. The Epic X, you can buy it with a whitening handpiece, a pain therapy handpiece, or just the surgical. So it's totally up to you in your practice of, do you want a total diode solution, or just kind of start with one and work them into your daily routine?
Right. Interesting. So, I mean, if you can pick different procedures, it must be super complicated to setting the different strengths, right? To pick the right settings for the right procedure. It must be super complicated when you're doing this, or is it?
No, not at all. So it's all actually pre-programmed into each unit. So once you turn it on, sorry, it froze now. There's the password. So like I said, I don't know if you can fully see the screen. You might not be able to.
Yeah, it's pretty bright.
Slowly or no. But either way, once you're on the screen, you would just click the soft tissue button. And then you could see here, if you can, it goes from gingivectomy, troughing, curettage.
Hello? We seem to have some technical difficulties. Hi, we lost you. That's okay. We're still recording. You're fine. Sorry, we probably missed your last few seconds there.
No worries. I know. Hey.
So you were saying that you had some preset menus to, depending on the procedure we're doing, basically you just tap that and
yes.
It sets automatically, correct?
Yeah, it's all preset right in. Like I said, the tips, the pulse modes. So it's really meant to be, it's called a plug and play type unit. Okay. To make it as comfortable and easy as possible. And when you purchase, you also will get your 7 hours of online diode training. That's great, good for you as well as anybody in your practice who would like to take the training. And we encourage everyone to do so, because the more people who take the training, the better for everyone who will know about the technology that you're bringing into your practice.
Awesome. So if a doctor, obviously they many are using, 2, 3, even 4 different ops. Yeah. Do they need to buy 4 lasers? Like, they have that one laser, do they need to buy more plugs? Like, how is it, how does that work exactly?
Yes, you do. No. Yes, that would be lovely. I think the more people, I think once you get the swing of things, you'll want more than one. But like I said, it has 6 hours of battery life.
Oh, wow.
So it's able to be moved from op to op. So it's very easy to move. Like the screen. So you can see it literally just fits in my hand. When I tell people over the phone, how big is it? I just think if you cut a Kleenex box in half, it's essentially that size. So it's very light and portable. It even comes with these are the 2 sleeves that go over the fiber. And this piece here is the part that goes to the autoclave. So the fact that you have 2, once one's done, send the other one away. I do know of many practices that are very busy with them and using them all the time, that you have the option to purchase additional sleeves just so you're never down or waiting for sterilization. But this one you can see totally fine. So it just clips right in. There's single-use disposable tips, and there's about probably 5 or 7 tips that you'd be using depending on the application. And you just literally screw them in like this.
Right.
So single-use disposable tips, and screw them out when you're done. And right now it's just a straight line. However, you can bend it to whatever angle you'd like. So however you're working. They come pre-initiated and uninitiated. More so all the hygiene applications, you're using more so uninitiated tips. And just throwing it out there, get like abscess ulcers. So if anyone suffers from cold sores, It's a great way to get it in. People know when they're starting to get it, and you just shine the uninitiated tip over it. It's a really quick procedure, and those patients will come back again and again and again to avoid the typical cold sore life cycle.
Yeah. So a great little service extra you can offer your
Totally.
So as you know, I mean, you guys aren't the only company selling Biolase. I mean, you are exclusive with us, and there's many laser companies out there. I get questions once in a while. There's certain price differences between every type of laser. And after looking at the specs, of course, you have your 10-watt laser, and you have your 4-watt laser. So what would be the disadvantage to having a low-powered laser comparing to let's say a 10-watt plus with Biolase? Why wouldn't you just get a weak laser? What's the benefit of getting the big dog?
Yeah, I mean, I think the simple answer to that is, although this is a 10-watt laser, you're pretty well never using it at 10 watts. Like, that's absolutely too high. The quick analogy that I like to use is kind of think of it as cars, right? You can get a Porsche and you can get, no offense, Honda Civic. But you can both be driving, there you go. You can both be driving, say, 100 kilometers down the highway, but which vehicle do you feel you got to that 100 kilometers the fastest?
Yeah.
And which vehicle do you feel like you have greater precision and greater control with? So yeah, you can absolutely get a less watt diode. However, it might just not have the same cutting power and strength of what you're looking for.
You get for what you pay for, basically.
100%. And I'd say a lot of the other diodes on the market, and this is truly just me going to a hygiene course and just listening, being a little fly on the wall and listening to other people have side-by-side diodes and try them out. And honestly, one thing I probably wouldn't have thought of is the one thing with the Biolase is, do you see how it'll sit flat right beside you? And the interface is you're pushing down to change your modes or change your tips or strengthen your power setting, as well as the wand, see, sits flat within the diode. And I would say at the course, they were saying, like, sometimes your other competitor diodes are pretty primarily like this angle. And they're like, it's a little more finicky to change those settings. And then the hand piece is always upright. So when you plop it in, it typically slides out. So that's just actual, like, peer-to-peer things that I've heard people say. Absolutely.
So ergonomically, it's definitely well designed.
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Right, perfect. And you do have the bigger one as well, the Epic Pro. It's not as popular as the Epic X because it's a lot more bigger unit, right? So for the ones that do want to get into a laser, the Epic X would probably be the best choice, correct?
I would say so. I would say we'd sell them 8 to 2 kind of thing, way more Epic X's compared to the Pro. And I would say anyone who's considering getting into a Pro, it's a great laser. However, I would say you want to have that start of diode technology. You want to have a little bit more familiarity of how it cuts, because when you're comparing it to a blade or even like an electrosurge, like you said, which is kind of like a hot blade, but like, the trick with lasers is you need to work a little slower because you need that absorption within that pigment. So it's not like you go in there and you just cut. You need to go slow because you need that energy to go through.
Right. Awesome. Perfect. So if anybody's really interested to get into lasers, is there a way for anybody to try one? Is there different programs? I know we sell them, everything is through Sinclair. Usually how long, does it take to get this thing comfortable in your hands? Do they need to use it a week before getting comfortable, or just a few tries could, what's
it really honestly depends. It really honestly depends on the doctor and depends on the practice. Yes, Sinclair does have a number of demo units. Talk to your kind of high-tech team to go out and see one. If you ever want to put on, when we can, I guess, more of like a laser and a learner event, those options are available as well. And I would definitely encourage anyone considering a laser of any capacity to go to biolase.com. And over COVID, we put on over 38 different webinars for different like periodontists, endodontists, hygiene, ortho, like you name it. There's a strong selection bank there to just kind of see, hey, you know, I was considering as an option, and just to hear more about it. And I'm even more than willing to take any phone calls that anyone might have as well.
Perfect. Well, Jill, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about lasers with us. I'm sure if anybody has any more questions that want to go deeper, they can get in contact with you, with me, and we can go from there by email or by phone. And you know, hopefully we'll do some more of these videos. There's the all tissue laser, which is, you know, I find it so interesting, and hopefully we can do something like this for that later on as well, if anybody's interested. But again, thank you so much. Hopefully you'll enjoy that 28-degree weather in
Edmonton.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 7 tomorrow here, or 5 or 7 for the rest of the week, so we'll be pretty happy. But anyways, thanks again, and we'll talk to you next time.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks.